how's it going, folks? So the previous video I talked about my personal issues with this. Now let's talk about it in a scale that, within the culture. So Hui, or I don't know how to pronounce this, is just basically, it's like a form of a lottery. It's best to think of it as like a lottery where they have different groups. It's very popular. There's other cultures do the same thing. They use different words, but in Vietnamese it's very common. And where they do is whether they do it within, they have certain groups to do this. And obviously the bigger the family, the more it is. So lottery, how does it work? Lottery is basically people who buy, lottery or scratchy, and there's a certain day, and when it comes up, whether you have that or not, okay, then I have it. And what happens when nobody wins? The next month, it will be double or triple the price because, they already gathered that much money for the lottery and nobody won. And until the person wins again, and then they're going to go back to, the smaller, lottery winner. And then they go through that. That's how lottery works. Now, obviously, this loan saving scheme is for low income to first buy the house, start business, or home deposit in Vietnam. All right. And it is back in their culture, is embedded. Cars are ripping out because it's a wet floor. It's been raining. Anyway, let's get to this topic. So it's basically is a raise of the cost of living, and as well they have to to get somewhere in their life. All right, that's the way how it is. So that's the way how it is in their culture. And the whole notion is keep on working, and they have the money in the family circle, and as well they have family circles, they have friends, or they have friend circles, and they have outsider. Now the outsider one is a lot bigger lottery price. Let's just say lottery price, but they have different prices as well. Now you just got to think of like a form of lottery, and at the end of the day they put lots of money. Sometimes they got pools that like is more than $500,000 or 200,000 or 50,000 or whatever. All right, whatever, they help the family out, whatever what they do. And there's a money collector, an individual, and I'll talk about the fraud about it behind. So they have the money collector who has the names and gather how much they've been putting left, right, and center. All right, that's the way how it is. Now it's just it's like a collectivism, putting the money in and working there, which is great, And I'm just letting you guys just read through this. It can be monthly, it can be range, whatever the money it is, right? It can be $5,000 or where it's like a bid. And many families will put lots of money weekly and monthly. Obviously, more money than how it is. I don't know exactly how it works, but I reckon it's similar to a lottery. I don't think it's that much different than that. All right, so it's good to stay ahead and that as well. Now, I got to go through this article, Hui fraud. Now, before I talk about this is from our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese in Australia. I know this article is being handed out in year 2007. I have to talk about personal experience because I have dated, my ex-partner is Vietnamese, and I get to see a lot of resemblance. I did not know about this whole thing until 2-3 weeks ago, as my brother-in-law has told me about this because he's Vietnamese background. It's a big thing, and for me to look at it, I look at the past that I was kind of wanting to lean towards it, and there were signs of it. And there's parties, and I know there's one particular family friend always hosting parties, right? And go to temple and volunteer. And I'm just there, I was wondering, sussing out what is wrong. And the more I understand is that he's collecting people who wants to join this group, or maybe he'll create his own version as well, and maybe he's become a money collector or whatever how it is. All right, I don't have the full story, but you kind of get the gist, right? Let's just say he's one of them. And now I looked at him. Well, he probably have like a couple of properties. God knows, 3-4 properties. He just opened up a third business right now. And it's just slowly started to make sense. Like what it's been, like the past stories that I'm listening, and jigsaw puzzle, everything. For example, there were like 5 people were buying this property and then putting their name. And out of that, they got many other properties. And, they become successful, whatever how you guys label successful. But a lot of debts and, the X, Y, and Z, right? Now, when you win this type of money, let's just say you won the lottery. You're the one of them who won the lottery. Let's just say maybe 200,000 or 300,000. Now, all this money, be mindful, it is cash. It's not like electronic money. And when you have cash, obviously, I don't know how you guys are going to declare this as the legit money or buy whatever, but buying your first house or your business or whatever, it works, or a car. All right, fair enough. It is what it is. I'm not here to say anything bad about it. But the more you play this sort of game, as a previous article mentioned, can be 5,000, can be, whatever, how much it is. If an individual won, right, of course he's going to play more rounds. So a lot of families sucking the money out and play this sort of game. Obviously, they're going to play a bigger pool because there's bigger money. I've got this. And it's like impulse, right? And you don't care about the risk behind because you're just putting more money. I got a friend who, one of the family members has lost $200,000 because someone has fallen for this fraud. Now, people will say, why it's a fraud? Right? And I have to tell more stories before we get to this article. There was one of the, my mate, who back in the days, who parents who owns a farm up in the country. What's that place called again? Anyways, it's not Shepparton, but it's really in the border. Mildura. All right, cool. In the border of New South Wales and Victoria in Australia. Families are Greek. They're always hired workers for grape picking. They never had a Vietnamese before. And they're not sure because Mildura is very hot. And there's always ambulance calling in for heat stroke. People not how to handle the heat. But when they did that, they go to the farm and they're picking grapes. It's probably back in the 70s or 80s. And he's been telling me like, my parents were like shocked. His parents were shocked. They work so hard, they take less break, they keep working. And every week they give out the paycheck on the envelope to this group of Vietnamese. The group of Vietnamese will have their paycheck and give it to one individual. And my mate's parents were a bit shocked. Maybe it's just a one-off thing, whatever. Week after week, month after month, then he started to communicate with this Vietnamese group. And they start to realize, he's giving money to that individual to buy a house. And later on, he'll do the same thing to buy, everyone's a house. And that's why you can hear the Vietnamese stories nowadays, a lot of houses, right? But back then, cash is doable. Now, cash is very difficult, right? And that's the Australian dream that many Vietnamese community has brought from their culture to bring here. Fair enough. Like I said, I highly respect that. It is what it is. But now, let's talk about this fraud, this article. Alright, the money is lent out to other members class associated with them. Unregulated practice is not monitored by the government because this money is not from the banks. The banks is like, obviously they're going to give you a small loan or a very tidy loan or whatever. So, and they're not going to work hard. So many of them who are Vietnamese will work cash in hand and a lot of those jobs, and they won't go to the legit route because, money can be traced, or maybe they'll do the same thing. And because there is a group, I'm trying to skim it through at the moment, the allegations and administrator. The administrator is basically the money collector, all right? Electorate and also extended right through Cabramatta. Now, I know this suburb, Cabramatta is like pretty much equivalent to Springvale in Victoria. Money offshore, and then, there's a funnel the club's money offshore into personal assets. There is also an allegation to administrator fees from members, which illegal act, and I understand the matter. This matter, the police have been become involved. All right. When guests care should be vulnerable members of the Vietnamese community who has to lost, in many cases, their life savings. Representative to me and House the Republican order water other members of communities of danger which can take place. What it meant by this scheme, which are open to abuse, is there is, like I mentioned to you guys, there's like a family circle. Obviously the family is the most trustworthy. They put money and help out this sister or that uncle or whatever, right, to get ahead in life or houses, whatever. Like I said, I'm not complaining. You got those who are in the friend circle. It's a bit tricky because friends comes and goes, and there will be a money collector. Maybe it's the friend who's the money collector will run away with the money. And obviously, Australia is a small country. You can hunt that person down. And it's a bad blood. It's all about money, this and that. You got that as well. And the bigger pool that I mentioned to you guys is the outsider one. The random people who's like maybe 5,000 people or 1,000 or a couple hundred people putting money to this club, whatever you guys call it. And then they're in the crypto world, we call it rug pull. So they run away with the money, with large amount of money. And this is where it becomes, they don't mention about this on this article. So this is like a fraud case, basically. And this becomes a problem, right? We have large money going out like this and that. Now, it's dangerous at times because obviously the trustworthy family members will do this and do that. And you know, they could do whatever they want. And you know, it is what it is. And it is to the point that what my mate told me is like, that is very smart. Where a collective people work together to build their future. Which is great. But this is what my other mate tells me. When you win once, you become greedy. You want to upgrade in life. It becomes numbness. It's like all of us, if we won a lottery today, we want to upgrade, and upgrade. Whether it's an impulse, whether it's a bad decision, whether it's a good decision, nobody could tell you. But also, buying a house, buy more houses, and you never know, maybe we'll lead up what it is today. You know, we got recession ahead of us, or probably we have a recession. We don't have the official title. Like I said, we can not have the official title. Interest rate going up. So, you greed will keep on buying more houses or whatever. It becomes a problematic. Right? And now, I understand my personal life with my partner and her family keep on working. Now I understand why. They're playing this. They don't care about their health. And that mate who told me about the Vietnamese family, he goes to dialysis. And he's in his 60s, right? And he's been telling me that the hospital he regularly visits, a lot of them are Vietnamese. Who are young. Maybe my age. And having kidney problems. In a certain point in your life, you started to say to yourself, like if you're giving thousands or 10,000s per month or hundreds per month or whatever, you're working like a dog. And whether you win that lottery or not, you take the risk. Whether you go gambling, you take the risk and you make the money. And now I'm at the stage where I see people are dying from heart attack from around my age. I'm 34, if you guys are wondering. You started to question many things out there in life. And one thing is lifestyle. And if I'm keep on working like this, I'm going to kill myself. And this stuff is going to kill me. And is it worth it? Because you only have one heart, one liver, 2 kidneys. Yada, yada, yada. Right? And now I'm at the age, in that stage, I'm like, you know what? I need to control myself. I only have one liver. I want to leave the legacy to see my daughter to grow. But many of these Vietnamese, they don't do that way. I see how their life is like that. Where they work so much and forced to chuck their kids to extended family members or grandparents or childcare as much as they want, and don't spend much time on their kids, and keep on hustling. They cannot afford to go holidays or X, Y, and Z. What is the meaning of life? Really? Do I want to hear stories from dying from heart attack, gambling addiction or drug addiction, stress? I started to realize stress kills people. I thought it was, obviously the more high roll, it just, even if you do less stress job and you're having the high debt, that is stress as well. Or you're doing a stressful work and not making that much money, that is stress as well. But this whole thing is a lot to think about. And for them to keep on working non-stop and putting money in. Markview. At the moment, there's an allegation against an administrator of Hui Central in Markview. Markview, I already know what it is. It's like equivalent to Sydney Footscray. Alright? And then you got Cabramatta, and then tens of millions of dollars filled in the club money, offshore accounts, and personal assets. And that is just crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. And it's just so much to think about it. And I saw, there's, for existence, I get to, having flashback moments with my partners and the conversation. For example, we have 5 siblings. One is sponsored the parents for getting a PR route. And I'm like, that is a great idea. But they do everything as Hui all the time. And no wonder why I was never being poor and making all the money and still want more money. For me, I just want to raise my own family, have a simple life. No need to work our head off. Try to pay off mortgage and just enjoy life. But their world is different. Money, work. But there's no life. You only become 34 once in your lifetime. 35. What happens when you become 50? Like, how much lottery do you have to play to pay off how much you bought the house? It's just, to think about the whole thing, it's just crazy. Yeah. But like I said, I admire them, what they do. It's in a family circle, I get to see my partner's family one by one getting houses left, right, and center. And for me to think about it, it's good in a sense, but when greed becomes a power and keep on upgrading, keep on chasing higher, this is the part that I don't appreciate. Well, like I said, once you win the lottery, you keep playing the lottery. And whether you keep losing or losing the money, whether you benefit the family or whatever, it is what it is. And I'm just here to say, that is something new to me. And yeah, that's the video. It's just for me to decode about my relationship. It makes more clear.